Hey guys, getting the room set up here for winter of 24. Had most plants just all upstairs until Christmas gets close, and then all of a sudden, Christmas trees go up and we start running out of room. So that's when we open up the plant room here. We've got a room in the basement and it works pretty good. And as you can see up here, we've got our high pressure sodium grow light, which casts near perfect light for plants. It's even a bit bright maybe for some of these plants, but it's pretty good. It actually works quite well. The issue is that the bulb itself actually heats up the room, so it gets warm in here. So from that we can manage a temperature in here close to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe somewhere in that, at least 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just nice for a lot of these tropicals. They like the temperature. And then just the items in the room actually build up and hold heat as well, just because there's items in the room. So the whole room warms up, and then even when the light goes out, it stays warm pretty much right through until the next duration. There's natural heat that comes into the room from the house, so that just gives us a little bit of warmth or buffering, and so that works pretty good. Other things that we're doing, I'll just spin around here. So here are some of these plants up close. I've got a few brugmansias. There's a brugmansia here that is this is a pink flowering brugmansia, just in like a 2-gallon pot, and there's actually a little epiphyllum growing there that's kind of cute, just a little cutting. That's the only cutting I have of that particular species. Some dracaenas here, and the big brugmansias from outside that we brought in. I think you've seen a few videos on those and me hacking those back, bringing them in. And then plumerias. Plumerias are partially deciduous, so they'll often lose their leaves in the wintertime, so this one has done that, but I like it because this one I've got as a standard, so I've just got one single stem coming up, and I've had several other ones that branched. As soon as they flower, they tend to branch, and I can actually see on the tip here, if we can get it to focus, there we go, there's actually that little ball of leaves there on the end is actually a cluster of flowers. It's going to come out when it blooms in the spring, I guess. Well, it'll bloom sometime this winter, and I'll show you videos of that as we go along. We have this little greenhouse set up here. We've used this in the past for growing mushrooms for indoor production, and so it's a great little unit for that. But right now we're just using it as a bit of a little plant hospital and plant holding area. I'm going to rig up some of these grow lights. I've got a couple here, and there's actually one up in the top, just to make sure there's ample light in there. And I'll probably get some seedlings and things started in there. We'll see how that goes. Right now I've got my gloxinias. So here's a gloxinia. These were dormant and they're just starting to shoot. So you can see the new fuzzy leaves coming out, sort of like almost like a begonia. So I've got two of those. One over here is still dry and dormant. And this one's just starting to shoot, and they've got beautiful big blooms. I've done videos on these in the past with the brilliant red and white flowers. So I'll fill this with assorted plants based on their needs and requirements, and then I've got some, probably get that hooked up to some sort of a timer for the lighting. Then here we have the dragon fruit. So dragon fruit cactus are quite massive actually, and they grow quite fast. So this guy is quickly outgrowing his pots. Try to keep the thing tied up to a metal stand here, and they tend to cascade. This thing will grow sometimes 4 to 5 feet. Each one of these strands 4 to 5 feet in a year. So it's amazing once they get going. And then usually when this one's getting to be almost 4 years old. I grew this one from seed, but this one is just kind of, I just do it just for the fun of it. But hopefully next year we'll see if we can get some blooms on the thing, and then see if it actually does produce. You never know. But with all these plants are all, the reason they're in storage now is because we put them outside in the summertime, and so they live out on the deck all year, all through the summer, and then as the seasons change, we just move them inside for the winter. And so more brugmansias here in the background. They're just dormant again, completely defoliated. I still give them a little bit of water. I was just watering them here. They're mainly dry, but I give them a little bit of water about once a month, just to let them know that there's still life out there. The philodendrons, these are Salome philodendrons, and they're quite beautiful. We've got lots of these plants, super fast growing and easy to grow. Yeah, so I just brought these down. They take up so much room in the house. Another Dracaena here in the back, this beautiful variegated form. And more plumeria cuttings going down here. And down below, I just have under the bench here some canna lilies, and I've got some other assorted bulbs and things that we have that are just overwintering. It's the only place I have right now. I prefer to store my cannas and roots. I just leave them in pots so that the roots are surrounded by soil so they have some moisture. Even though I keep them pretty much bone dry all winter. The moisture, dry soil maintains a humidity of about 25%, and that's perfect for storing bulbs. So if they're already in a pot, have at it. We can just leave it. And so these guys will be getting them up and going around the end of February, early March. And again, because of the grow light, that we can get things going pretty early in the season. And here's another epiphyllum. This is a beautiful pink variety, very dehydrated. You can just see the foliage is just crinkled and totally dehydrated. So I got to try to bring this guy back. I've neglected him, and he's just been totally bone dry for quite some time. Remember that the cactus that are tropical, like these, they're tropical like rainforest tropical. So that means they're used to having pretty regular water supply. So this one's called Pink Empress, and it's a beauty when it gets going. So sometimes we'll bring them down here into the plant room, for a while, and if they suddenly burst into bud and bloom, then we move them upstairs and enjoy them up in the main house. So there you go, clivias. And there's another, this is a white and yellow epiphyllum, so another orchid cactus. And of course, this is Euphorbia grantii. So this is just a kind of a cool, something you don't see very commonly in the houseplant realm. They're very delicate sort of plants to grow indoors. They're best grown outside where there's wind moving and whatnot. But again, they're tropical. There's some toxicity involved in this particular plant, so you could do a little bit of research on it. It's kind of cool. I'm not so sure I'll be keeping this one very long. I'm just growing it more or less as an experiment. But it grows very fast. So this plant was about this big, just a cutting, back about 5 months ago. So this guy's 5 months old, and he's already about 3 feet high and just going nuts. So easy to grow. Euphorbia families tend to be succulent, but these guys will take a fair bit of water actually, and just grow like mad. But there is some issues with the toxicity of some euphorbias, not poinsettias, because they're also a euphorbia, but Euphorbia grantii is one that's known to have sort of toxic sap. So just got to watch some of those houseplants. But even this philodendron is considered to be a poisonous plant. But lots of plants are, but I just say don't eat them. That's the best rule. Do not eat houseplants, no matter how delicious they look. All right, so anyway, this is the first step. It's just getting everything down here. I put down a drop cloth. It's a waterproof drop cloth, and that's basically all I do, just to keep the water off the floor, and it can just evaporate there on the drop cloth. That's fine. Many of the little trays that we have and use are not perfect, and every year we buy lots of trays, but it's nice to have that added humidity in this room anyway, so it's kind of good. And then I have a thermostat that's just sitting in the back here in the corner. It's just sitting on the table there, and that's wireless thermostat, or I guess a thermometer, and then it sends the temperature upstairs onto a readout, so I can just see what the temperature is. So I always like to know what the daytime temperature is and what the nighttime temperature is. Other than that, there's going to be some pest control things we're going to have to deal with. So as we go along, we'll be showing you some other tips on pest control. Anytime you're storing plants indoors, you're going to run into issues. That's just the way it is. The temperatures seem to be just perfect for the insects to grow. So there you go. That's the way it goes. But this guy, I got to work on him. I got to get him rehydrated and quickly. So I'm going to start by misting him with water, and I might just throw a bag over top of the thing. I get those big leaf bags, the clear plastic leaf bags. I might just spray the whole thing down and then cover it with a leaf bag and try to get up to like 100% humidity, and that should help bring the plant back a little bit. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. We've got lots to do, so yeah, very cool. So that's it for the plant room. So thanks everybody for tuning in today, and yeah, stay tuned for lots more videos coming down the pipes. Have a good one. Bye for now.